Hey, what's up? This your boy Big Man. You already know what it is, man. So let's get right to it. Okay, so today we got another update from Pooh Shiesty, man. Now, Pooh Shiesty's case has been wide public knowledge, man, and he's got several different cases that are running into each other. There's been stories printed recently that talked about the fact that Pooh Shiesty's, what they're using against him is some of his juvenile record and stuff that he did before he was even an adult. And there's been issues as far as how this thing is going to play out with his other cases and how much evidence they allegedly have stacked against Pooh Shiesty. Well, today, somebody by the name of Lawyer for Workers, and he does updates about the legal documents that are filed on these cases and breaks them down, even when they're breaking news like the cases that come out and the information that comes out like in the middle of the night with Pooh Shiesty's case. Now, in this situation, it looks like one of Pooh Shiesty's co-defendants is folding, or I don't even know if you want to call it folding. Dude is entering a guilty plea, and there was allegedly discussions all this morning in court about what effect this is going to have on Pooh Shiesty's case going forward. Now, before we get to the specifics and break down the clip, do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and man, let's get it. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, man, once I heard Pooh Shiesty's name again, I was like, oh no, here we go. Because I know that his trial is coming up soon. I think the trial is actually supposed to start on the 25th of this month. So that's only in a couple of days, right? Well, there's some new breaking news, as I said in the intro, and it looks like one of Pooh Shiesty's co-defendants has pled guilty. Now, I'm going to reference this video from Lawyer for Workers and talk a little bit more afterwards because this might not be as bad as it sounds. Because once I heard that, I said, okay, well, it only makes sense that if one person who's a co-defendant pleads guilty, that can't look good for everybody else who's left out there, right? Because he's essentially saying that he did something. He's admitting the fact that, I'm guilty in doing something. Well, based on what this lawyer is saying, it might be a little bit more difficult than that. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense. Now, I'm going to let him tell the specifics and then come on back for your commentary. And we're going to actually talk about the charges that they have against Pooh Shiesty, in which case I think this is, associated with.
Update on Pooh Shiesty. One of his co-defendants has indicated to the court that he wants to change his plea from not guilty to guilty. Not Pooh, but one of the other defendants. There are 3 defendants in this case. 3 individuals charged with federal crimes and alleged to have been in that parking lot where the prosecutors are charging violations of the Hobbs Act and armed robbery. Now, the one individual who has told the judge, and he filed paperwork last night. This morning, the lawyer went in front of the judge, said, I want to change my client's plea from not guilty to guilty. The judge asked the government first and said, does this impact the trial that's set to go forward next week? Do we need to do this before the trial? Government said no. Then the judge asked the defendant's lawyer that, do we need to take this change of plea and put it on the record before the trial? The lawyer said no. What that suggests is that this individual who's changing his plea, this defendant, from not guilty to guilty, is not going to be a witness in the case against Pooh Shiesty, is not cooperating against Pooh, and therefore the change of plea can happen after Pooh's trial.
Okay, so just to break down what we heard there, it sounds like one of his co-defendants, and they didn't name who it was specifically, right? And they said they basically got with their lawyers and in the middle of the night said, hey man, I'm just going to plead out guilty. And it actually has no effect on Pooh Shiesty as far as somebody telling on him or anybody allegedly snitching on him. The person who pled guilty, obviously, man, they must have been, charged with something more minor. Like, I'm not sure who exactly it was, so it's hard to detail that. But there were several people who were named in Pooh Shiesty's indictment and in this investigation, and it's held at the federal level. So, man, regardless of the situation, if you plead guilty, you're probably going to see a lot of time, man. You're probably going to do some time, you know what I mean? Because like they say, the feds don't play, right? Where in the last story, allhiphop.com reported this, that according to Rolling Stone, lawyers for Pooh Shiesty and his co-defendants withdrew a request to delay the court proceedings. The trial is scheduled to begin October 25th. Now, at that time, they were pushing to have the trial as soon as possible, it seems. So maybe that meant they were confident about their case, and I'm not sure if this guy pleading guilty plays any part to that. Like, they are co-defendants, but I'm not sure if they have the same lawyer or not, right? Now, that same story continues by saying this. It says, Pooh Shiesty and his co-defendants have been charged with 1 count of conspiring to possess firearms in furtherance of a crime of violence, conspiring to commit a Hobbs Act robbery, committing a Hobbs Act robbery, and discharging a firearm in furtherance of a crime of violence. And at that time, Pooh Shiesty pleaded not guilty on all 4 charges, man. So hopefully, man, his lawyers have their stuff in order and together. Now, what's crazy is Pooh Shiesty's case seems to be coming at us pretty fast. And, we're starting to get a lot of information. Now, there was a story that was also published about Pooh Shiesty yesterday from hiphopdx.com, and it said this, man. The headline said, Pooh Shiesty asked judge to stop feds presenting childhood crimes in armed robbery trial, right? Now, Pooh Shiesty, he was arrested in October. We all know that. But the Shade Room made a post, and it said that the government plans to show that evidence of past acts in order to show opportunity, intent, knowledge, or absence of mistake. One of the incidents is a robbery case where Pooh Shiesty was 11 years old, and the other is an assault case when he was 14 years old. In the filing, Pooh Shiesty's team says the government also plans to show 16 instances attributed to the Choppa Gang members' use of firearms to advance their interests. Shiesty's attorneys argue the alleged crimes mainly focus on people who aren't named in the indictment, and the one instance even occurred while he was detained. So basically saying that Pooh Shiesty had nothing to do with some of these crimes that they're bringing up, and they happened while he was already detained. Now, what's crazy is they're going to stoop to using, Pooh Shiesty's past as far as being like 11 and 14 years old against him in this trial. Now, I know this trial is serious, and I know Pooh Shiesty is still a relatively young dude, but you would think there'd be a limit on how far you would go back, in the trial to paint a picture of who the person is, right? Now, I am no lawyer, and I can't give any legal advice, but it looks like his attorneys are right up on that, man. They trying to battle that. Now, Pooh Shiesty's co-defendant pleading guilty looks like it shouldn't have any effect on him or somebody telling on him or anything like that. But when you look at this, do you think it'll have paint a bigger picture when all is said and done? Or is the fact that there's allegedly a video out there that we've all already seen that's allegedly Pooh Shiesty already sealed this case for Pooh Shiesty probably not coming home as soon as he thought he would or as soon as his fans would hope for? Now, with that, this has been your boy Big Man. Hold up. What do you guys think about this situation? Do you think that Pooh Shiesty is getting a raw deal with all these latest developments? Or do you think that his co-D pleading guilty to this case is a bad look for him in the long run? Or do you feel like, man, in these situations, sometimes it's every man for himself, and just as long as his co-defendant is not telling on him or anything like that, it shouldn't be a problem. Now, with that, this has been your boy Big Man. Do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit that notification bell so that way you get a notification every time I drop this hot content, and we out of here. Peace.